The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everybody. TGIF as always. Very excited about tonight's show, and I have the beautiful Kelly McCarville. How you doing?
Howdy. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm tired, but I'm good.
Yeah, that seems, to be going on quite a bit.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it seems to be the answer that I get from a lot of people when I'm like, how you doing? They're like, I'm just so tired. I swear there's something in the atmosphere that's just making us all sleepy.
Yeah, I think it lingers of the leftovers from 2020.
We're still infected from 2020. Is this what I'm hearing?
Yes.
That's not good.
So, tonight, I want to welcome Jill Shelley, owner of the Boyd House. How you doing, Jill?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
We are well. Cold, but good.
Yes.
Yeah, we're headed for that deep freeze here coming this weekend.
Oh, good God. I don't know who ordered this weather, but whoever asked for this, I have strong words for you guys.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah. Are you guys supposed to get as cold as we are, Shay?
Actually, we're warming up, but it's been cold. Like, 30s is warm.
Oh, yeah, no, our high tomorrow, I think, is supposed to be 1 degree.
Yeah, that's...
And our low's -11, or something like that. I don't know which day it was, but it's supposed to be fucking cold.
Yeah. Yep. So, Jill, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've actually been a paranormal investigator for well over 10 years. We founded a group called St. Croix Paranormal, and based out of Stillwater, Minnesota. And our group started traveling. First we did private homes and businesses in town and local areas, and then we started traveling all around across the country to well-known haunted locations in search of the paranormal and answers to some questions.
That's awesome.
So the typical question, how did you get into the paranormal? What kind of got you interested in this field?
Well, I've always kind of been fascinated since I was a little kid, always liking the ghost stories and just kind of sitting in the dark and freaking myself out. It's like my very first experience was probably at my grandmother's house. There was a room upstairs that none of us kids ever liked. We always just kind of felt unwelcome. It was always freezing cold. I always remembered you'd stare into the closet, which, all she had was a curtain over the closet, but you would just look in there or stare that direction and just felt like somebody piercing back at you, like they didn't want you in there. And I remember one night I woke, and I was younger, maybe 10 or less, don't remember exactly. And I heard footsteps coming out of that bedroom and walked and stood in front of the room I was sleeping in. But I was terrified. I was a kid. I was not going to turn around and check this thing out. But I could feel it like staring through me. It was so intense. And then I just turned around and walked back. And in the morning, and I knew it wasn't my parents because my parents were still snoring in the next room and my grandmother sleeps downstairs. So I kind of mentioned it, I asked my parents. They're like, no, we never got up in the middle of the night. And my grandma, she just kind of looked at me, and she's extremely religious. And she said, oh, honey, that's just a ghost, and he's not going to hurt you. So then I was kind of like, well, gosh, if this is how Grandma feels about this is something really cool. And then from there, I just kind of got the bug, I just started reading and studying and learning about spirits and communications. And then with the advent of the TV shows coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, I could really do this. I could go investigate places. And that's when I started meeting some great group of people, and that's when our team, St. Croix Paranormal, got started.
Excellent. So you've been investigating for quite a while. Do you stick kind of in your territory, or where all have you been?
Oh gosh, no, we've traveled as far as Ohio. So we've kind of been over, I think the farthest we've gone west, I think we've been to Kansas. I think it's the farthest we've gone that way. We've done Missouri, Iowa. We've done the like Thornhaven Manor, Whispers Estate, of course, Waverly Hills. You had to get that in. That was on our bucket list. We got that one in a couple years ago. That was awesome. Melbourne Manor, Edinburgh Manor, Prospect Place, Gill House. There's just so many places,
Yeah, most definitely. So one of those places, of course, would be Boyd House. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Boyd House? What is it, and where is it, and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, doing investigating and traveling to places, I kind of got the idea of getting my own haunted location, and I happened to come across the Boyd House. And so that's located in southwest Minnesota in the town of Boyd. It's about 145 miles southwest of the Twin Cities. And a little bit of history of the house. It was built in 1901. And the deed goes back to 1884, when the land was actually owned by the railroad. It also butts up against back in the day, it was the Sioux Dakota reservation line. So just kind of a lot of history there. The town itself, back in the day, was a real kind of Wild West booming town. And now there's like 150-some people, and there's not really anything left in the town. But one of the main people that we know that resides there spirit-wise is Fred Eckert, and he was a real well-known, respected businessman in town, and he actually owned one of the general stores, sold a lot of good, dry goods, fancy shoes, men's clothing, and he also was part of the fire department. Him and his sons helped build the Lutheran church. He was part of the school board, so very well-respected businessman, and he died in the house in 1958. His wife also died in the house. And then we have, I just recently learned that 2 of the children died. One child actually choked to death on food when they were about 2. And then there's another confirmed death in the 70s of a German lady that she passed away in the house. So those are the confirmed. So we have 5 confirmed deaths that we know of in the house.
Oh,
and those all actually happened. Yeah, I was going to say those all actually happened in the house, like they were literally in the house.
Right, yes, they are. Those are ones that actually died in the home that we know of, 5 for sure.
Wow. Sorry about that. I was having some tech issues, and my sound's lagging, but you guys seem to be okay. But so if I'm a little quiet, it's because I go to say something in it, then I realize I think you guys are already talking.
No, you're all right.
So go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead. You first.
So what kind of activity have you experienced at the Boyd House?
Well, a lot of teams have gotten different stuff, but myself personally, the first night that I stayed there, I actually had some banging on the basement door. So it's like on the other, it's walking by, and well, I think it was like 8 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I just heard bam, 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 coming from the basement door. And, of course, it startled me. I jumped like 10 feet because I was not expecting any of that to go down. And then I tried to, check it out, is it, back, wind flow, anything, could anything have caused this? And I couldn't come up with a logical explanation on that. I've heard audible voices. I haven't seen with my own eyes, but I'll come across like a door being open when it was shut, and I know it was shut, and I'll check it too, like I'll twist the handle, pull the door. I mean, you really got to work at it. A lot of equipment interactions. I've got a lot of good EVPs and spirit box responses.
So what made you decide to open up the Boyd House as a haunted house? I mean,
again,
let me clarify that. It's not a haunted house like, ooh, Halloween, jump out and scare you, like as a haunted location.
Right, yeah. And again, that's just from doing the traveling as a paranormal investigator, because it's always, it's always fun to have a place that you can go, that they allow people to come in and just do what you want, run your equipment and see what you kind of get. And it's kind of fun to collaborate with everybody to see that, we are getting some of the same similar responses or the same type of EVPs, and just all together, everybody's just trying to solve this fun mystery of who the heck's in that house.
Right. And you knew that this activity was happening before you bought the house, or did you own the house and then figure out that this was all happening?
Well, actually, it's I kind of was just looking on my own. I was able to financially purchase, but nobody advertises, hey, my house is haunted. So I just would kind of, do an MLS search of the criteria of what I was looking for, age of the house and things like that. And then if it appealed to me, and the Boyd House really appealed to me, like I just kept going back, and like I just felt this draw, like I was really already attached to the house before I got there. And so I went there. We were waiting outside for the realtor, me and one of my investigators, and just kind of looked at her and I go, Donna, you kind of feel like somebody's staring at you out of that attic window. She's like, yeah, sure. I wasn't going to say anything, but it definitely does feel like somebody's staring at us. And, we kind of got that feel of, not an unwelcome when we went. It was like the house was welcoming, but yet it was standoffish in a way.
Just kind of a, what are you doing here? What exactly do you want? Why are you standing outside my house?
Right. And then, on our spirit box, I actually had a woman say, who are you? And, this is like the very first time anybody's ever tried to communicate with them. And we had a REM pod go off within 8 minutes. And so, I was kind of like, okay, well, can I really say, I had some feels, experiences. So I turned to a medium I really trust, and she said there were actually 6 spirits that were there. And then I thought, okay, well, now we just have to ask the owners. I got to verify. And they did have some experience. They did blow a lot of it off because, the parents were being in the, I wouldn't say elderly, but the older generation, to where you didn't talk about these kind of things because if you did, you're crazy. So they said that they would hear sometimes old-timey music. The kids had sometimes seen like an older man, sometimes sitting in a chair. They saw things and heard things, but just kind of blew it off as it's just an old house and that kind of thing. But it wasn't constant.
So do you do the normal like private investigations there, the tours and events all there?
Yeah, right now we just do the private overnight paranormal investigations, and we did have a couple events that were set just before the pandemic hit, so then we haven't had any events since then. So hopefully if we can start getting the world back to normal, then hopefully we can start doing some events at the house. But first we do just the private overnight paranormal investigation.
Okay. Darren has a question about the house. He wants to know if anybody has ever investigated the crawl space.
I don't know if she's just talking about, we just have one small closet. and we don't necessarily have anywhere we can get into a crawl space. But
yeah, I was going to say I don't remember a crawl space if I missed it. If there is.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that little tiny closet, that's got that crazy door knocker on it at the end of the hall by the bathroom. But and that one, when I bought the house, I didn't even know that was there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I could see that possibly being called a crawl space.
Yeah. I mean, I know the old owner, not the old owner, one of the daughters came when I was there. She wanted to visit and meet me and kind of walk through the house. And she just goes, "Oh, did you ever find anything in that closet up there by the bathroom?" And I'm like, "What closet by the bathroom?" And she's like, "Well, I'll show you." So you go up there, and the way it was set when I had it, the door was so flush to the wall, it just looked like that was the wall. So then we pulled on it, and then I discovered I had a whole other little spot there. So, yeah, she used to play school in there, they said, as kids. But I did get 2 good EVPs out of that room. I had opened the door into there one time, and I had a little boy say, "Don't hurt me." So I don't know if he had been abused or if I just scared him or I don't know what happened there. And then I had another one that it was a real faint whisper, and it said "hide." So I don't know if they were just wanting to hide from me or play hide and seek. I'm not really sure.
I'm waiting for him to answer, see if that's what he meant. But he also asked, what is your paranormal fear? Like, do you have one thing that you're afraid of doing this in the field?
Paranormal fear. I thought you said paranormal fair. Your mask is coming out, sweetheart.
For me, well, if I got locked in a closet, I'd probably completely freak out because I already don't like being, anytime I'm in a closet, I keep my foot at the door. So there's that. But I think the other thing that, like, my greatest fear would be to wake up and open my eyes and have something standing there staring at me. I think that.
Oh yeah.
That would be like. I don't know. I don't think I can handle that.
Do you have kids?
I do. I have one child. I have 2 grandkids.
Have you ever woken up and the kid be like 2 inches from your face staring at you?
Yeah, I'm sure I've had that happen.
So I can only imagine if it wasn't, one of your kids and it was something else.
Oh, exactly.
Yep.
That's what just kind of freaks me out. Because even sometimes if I get up in the middle of the night at the Boyd house, I try not to look down the hall as I'm walking to the bathroom. I'm like, just go to the bathroom and come right back. It's so funny as much as you paranormal investigate. So there's some things that you just, and I've never seen an apparition, which is something I really want to see. As an investigator, I've seen one shadow figure, like a real full-on shadow, but I've never actually seen a full-blown apparition. So I'm not sure how I'd handle it, even though I really want it to happen, but hopefully not as soon as I wake up.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you also don't want it to be when you're half asleep, completely vulnerable, walking to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I mean...
Exactly, yes. Yes, exactly. That would be too startling, I think.
Well, I get what you're saying completely. There's a place that we go down in southern Iowa, Mason House Inn, and I'm constantly telling them, I want to see you, I want to see you. But before I go to bed, I'm like, okay, I know I've been saying all night I want to see you, but I do not want to open my eyes and have you in front of my face.
See, you know where I'm coming from.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Hey, I'm right there with you guys, so.
And I think we answered Mama Pat's question, but the Boyd house is in Boyd, Minnesota.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that one.
No, it was after Darren's, so. Okay. But just to kind of reiterate in case we didn't actually say the name of the town. Oh, you went. Okay. All right. I'm catching up with you. That is what he meant.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So while I'm going to be writing these down as we do this, but I forgot to play this or that, so we're going to get that out of the way. It's a little game we play. I usually do it in the very beginning of the show, but I'm just now starting to wake up a little. So that way Darren doesn't have to repeat any of the same questions. I'm just going to ask you 6 questions, and, you get to choose this or that. Do you get what I mean?
So I just have to say this or that.
Yeah, I'm going to give you two choices.
We're going to give you two. There'll be two options, and
Yep.
you just have to say which
Okay.
option you
Gotcha.
agree with.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I can do this.
All right. It's pretty easy.
You didn't know you were going to be quizzed tonight, did you?
I did, and it's Friday, so you know.
Yeah. So, and as always, we have to say, of course, we never judge anybody except we silently judge you in our heads. So, okay, here we go. It's pretty easy. Investigator or hunter?
Investigate.
Data or evidence?
Evidence.
Provoking or no way?
No way.
Residential or commercial?
Ugh, that's a tough one. Commercial.
Orb or dust?
Dust.
Recorder or video?
Recorder.
Demon or just an asshole ghost?
Just an asshole.
See? See? And beautiful. We didn't have to judge you at all. See?
It's not nearly as scary as it sounds.
No. Those were good ones, though. That was fun. Thanks.
Just at the beginning when I started out, there were always those 5 questions I asked, and I've added to it since. But so I just made it into a quick game that, that way we could focus on other stuff. So.
All right, so we have a few more questions in chat. Darren wants to know, what is the weirdest thing that's happened to you on an investigation?
Like weirdest. I don't know. It's like I've been touched, and I've heard voices. I don't know if there's anything weird. There might be more things that are more scary than weird.
What's been your scariest experience?
That happened personally to me, I think, was when we were at the Velisca X murder house. I was just sitting in the kids' bedroom, and I was waiting for my teammates to come join me. We were going up there to see if we could get some interaction with the kids. And I was just sitting on the bed, and the beds they have there are like the old, springy, boingy, so they're very boingy if you sit down on them. And I was sitting completely still, just, waiting for everybody to show up, and all of a sudden you just felt like somebody plopped their butt down, and the whole bed just shook. And I just jumped up because I was completely startled, like, oh my God, and I ended up going right back in there. But that was kind of a scary situation for me because I wasn't totally expecting that. So, I think when you get startled a lot, when you're not expecting, and you have things, they tend to be a little scary. I always regroup and come back, but they are intense when they happen.
It's kind of like more like a jump scare, like not like you're going to run out of the building and never go back, but you get in the moment because you're not expecting it, you get startled.
Yeah, and it's hard not to have that initial reaction of no matter how prepared you think you are.
Exactly. I always think I'm going to be tough, but sometimes I'm not.
Yeah. Mama Pat she just put in chat that that's where Austin felt someone touch him too. So we went on our, the first time that we were at Velisca, we actually had my son with me, who is a very logical person, very touch it, see it, feel it, or it doesn't exist person. He supports my crazy ghost butt, but I don't know that he truly believed in it. And we had him out there, and he was on the bed as well, and somebody put a hand on his back. And yeah, he was out of that bed pretty darn quick.
Was it upstairs or was it downstairs?
It was upstairs. It was upstairs, and he was in the double bed.
Okay.
Yep, in the kids' room.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. I was on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one I was on, the double bed. Yep.
Yeah, he moved pretty quick.
I was trying to think if I don't know. I never felt like I felt scratches and stuff like that, but never actually. I could tell it was a hand. Like I could tell something was touching me. Like, could he actually physically feel that it was a hand? Or was he just assuming it was a hand?
I would have to ask him again how distinct it was, if he could tell for sure if it was a hand or if he felt just like it was a hand, that he assumed it was a hand or what. But,
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever been touched to the point that I like could tell fingers and stuff. But, I don't know. It was enough to make it move. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever been touched, Jill? Like touched?
Yeah, I've had like my shirt tugged on before, and then, as far as like, we were talking about like being able to feel the fingers and things. I've actually felt it's almost like something brush across my hand, like real lightly. Like if you were like to just barely put your fingers, so it was almost more like an energy rubbing on my hand. But I just knew that it was, a woman. It was actually at Edinburgh Manor, because a woman had been raped and murdered there, and I was sitting in a chair by the bedside, or by a bed where I assumed it was in the room she was murdered. And I was just talking and saying how sorry I felt and how violence against women was horrible, and all of a sudden I just kind of felt like somebody stroking my hand, like, thank you, almost in a comforting way. That was just the craziest thing.
Oh. Maybe they were thanking you for what you were saying.
It could be. We try to, even when we investigate, I don't like to focus a lot on the spirit's death, because you figure most places they go, everyone's like, how'd you die?
Yeah.
You kind of get sick of that. So I try to celebrate their life more, and if I get to know, doing research things about them, I tend to do more of that and try to focus on that kind of situation, or we'll just ask questions like, what did you like to do? And what was your life like? Tell me all about you. So we focus it that way. And then we tend to get a lot of positive responses that way.
Yeah. And Mama reminded me, she said, Austin said it felt like someone hugged him. And yeah, now that she said that, that's what he'd said, is it felt like someone put an arm around him. Because he was kind of like laying on the bed, lounging back on an elbow.
That's quite the first experience.
Well,
Yeah.
Gotta make sure he gets a little taste of it here and there. So when you go out and do investigations, I'm assuming that you use equipment just like everybody else. What piece of equipment would you say is your favorite, and are there any that you think, in your opinion, are a waste of time?
For me, hands down, my favorite's the spirit box. I just like the science behind it. We've gotten a lot of really good responses in a lot of our travels, such as, the science behind it with you can't speak within 1/100th of a second. We've gotten a lot of full sentences. We've gotten swear words on it, which, you're not going to hear that on the radio. So I just absolutely love the spirit box. And one of my hands down favorite stories about the spirit box is I was actually investigating a private home in Stillwater, and it was actually owned by a riverboat captain named Captain Jinks back in the day, and that was his house. And this couple family had bought the house, and everybody in the family had experiences except for the father. Never had experience. He's like, I think my whole family's crazy. They're nuts, but they want me to have you over. And when I met him, he was actually a professor and had a bunch of whole other PhDs and whatnots after his name. So a very, very intelligent man. And I explained the spirit box to him and how it works and the science behind it. And we went ahead and ran a session. And I said, whose house is this? And it, plain as day, said Captain Jake's. And ever since then, he was a believer.
Nice. Very cool.
It's funny how they don't believe until it happens to them.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, I've gotten some really good experience, even at the Boyd House. One of my favorite spirit box responses, I think, is I have a picture of Fred and Minnie Eckert, the couple that used to live there, up on the walls, and I had pointed to it, and I said, does anybody hear the people up on the wall? And you could hear right back on the spirit box, it said, do you mean the Eckerts? So I don't know if it was them, but they were making reference with that name and to the exact picture I was pointing to. So that was kind of crazy. So that's a really good validation. And
that's a pretty intelligent answer.
Yeah.
Right. And, we've been at asylums where we get stuff, we know they're hospital asylums, and it's like, get the doctor, we hear on the spirit box, and just, things that are related to what the building is located and the full sentences. I just love that thing.
Is there any pieces of equipment that you're just like, I'm not going to waste my time with that?
Not really. I don't know much about the phone apps. Maybe I'm just because I'm old school and I don't like a lot of new technology. So I don't know much about that stuff. So I kind of veer away from that, stick to some of the older type different things like the old REM pods and like spirit boxes and portals and voice recorders and so I just kind of stick to those kind of things.
Well, if you're ever interested, our last Traveler's Moon show that we did actually had the inventor of a lot of the phone apps that people use.
The good apps.
The Spiritist and the Necrophon. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Most of them that are out there are going to be, okay. But we just did a show with Keith Weldon, and he does the Spiritist and the Necrophonic that a lot of the teams seem to be using these days. So if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend giving it a try. I think they're equally as accurate, if not, in my opinion, more so than the Spirit Box. But totally understand. It's to each their own. And I was the same way when I first heard them. I'm like, really? A phone app? Are you sure? That can't be right.
I think Kelly and I fought about it for the first year we knew each other. And when I finally was like, fine, I'm going to frickin' try this thing just to prove you wrong. And my mind was blown.
Yeah. I'm not closed-minded to it. I just, I don't like technology, really.
I feel you on that one. Totally understand that one.
Right, yep.
So for the spirits that are at the Boyd house, do you have any theories on why they'd still be there?
Well, obviously because Fred, I'm not sure Fred's there because we've had different mediums say that they've actually spoke with him. I've gotten EVPs with his name. And, even on the spirit box, things representing Fred. I think just because he had such an attachment to the home and the history of the town, like I said, he was a very well-respected businessman, so I could totally see him staying behind. So as far as, his wife, Minnie, died there. We've had some interaction where equipment says it's Minnie, but I feel unless I actually get an EVP saying I'm Minnie, I don't want to say she's there for sure. And we get, I think we get some passerbyers as well because we're right on the railroad, and I feel like that conducts a little bit of energy as well. It literally runs right through the backyard, so it gets pretty loud when the trains do go through.
Yeah. Now, you had said that there was a couple kids who had died in the home. Do you happen to know if they were boys or girls and about their ages?
Well, I know the one that choked to death was about 2, and then the other one I think was like an infant. I know when I've gone to the grave site, there's 2 there. There's David and Violet. That was the names of the 2 children. And they also had 2 others pass away, but I don't know if that was in the Boyd house or when they lived, because they originally lived in Bangkok, Iowa, and then moved up back to Boyd because Mr. Eckhart was originally from Boyd. So I don't know if those 2 passed away there. It's hard to go back sometimes to find the history this far back. They didn't always keep that many good records. So, and we're also just kind of finding out things, bits and pieces from, his great-grandson we've been able to talk to and get some information. So we're still learning new stuff every day.
Now, is that his great-grandson that lives there in town still?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, because the day that we were out there, we were actually greeted by somebody, and I couldn't remember the relationship he told us, but he's like, yeah, my great something built the house. And I'm like, oh, well, okay then.
Yeah, that would be Fred. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a fun little introduction. Sorry, I'm looking back through comments here to see. So, not that you don't have your hands full with one haunted location, but if you had a chance to buy another haunted location, would you do it? And where would it be and why?
Actually, I have been looking for another place to purchase. So again, I would choose southern Minnesota as well. Wherever you purchase it, you have to be able to get down to it and maintain it and check on it. So I would probably pick another one down in southern Minnesota, and I feel like location would be good too, because you can get people from Iowa and some of the southern states, and a little bit even Wisconsin, Illinois, that type of thing. So yeah, we've kind of been actually looking around recently to see what we can come up with.
Oh, that's cool. You'd have two. Do you think you could ever handle more than two?
Probably not, unless I won the lottery and didn't have to work full time. I just meant that all the things that go into owning and running haunted locations. That's a lot of work. I'm assuming. It keeps me busy, besides, talking to other groups and getting things booked and, advertising. There's a lot of that. But, one thing I didn't consider when I purchased the house is that, you have to clean it and mow the lawn and things like that. So we've learned, some things as we've gone along, but it's just been a blast, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, and meeting new people and talking to people, and just doing my thing, loving it.
How long did you say you have owned it? Because I was having issues earlier.
In April, it'll be 2 years.
Okay. That's cool. Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry.
I don't remember what I was going to say.
I love when that happens.
That was 30 seconds ago. I don't remember anymore.
That's way too long. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. It was really stupid. That's why I probably forgot it. I was going to say, see, what you need to do is you need to run a special for the teams that are coming to investigate. Tell them you'll give them $25 off the price if they mow the grass while they're there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, actually right now we are kind of doing a special for 2 nights that we're knocking $50 off the 2-night stay price. So you can get it for $300 if you do 2 nights.
Now, when people stay in the house, are they able to stay like in the beds, or do they have to find a spot on the floor, or how does that normally work?
Yeah, it's up to them. We do have 2 beds. I can't guarantee I always get down there. We're not a hotel. So I recommend bringing your own blankets and stuff to sleep on top of the beds if you want to use them. We do have a couch. Otherwise, a lot of people bring their own air mattresses that they can sleep on.
Yeah, that's what we did. We put an air mattress in the living room.
Yeah, it tends to be the trend of what most people do.
So you actually rent it out like the whole night, not just like 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. that you hear at some places.
Yeah, what we do is you can come in at 3 p.m. Anytime after 3 p.m. and then we let you stay till noon the next day, because kind of feel like you can kind of get in, you can get your equipment set up, get some dinner, have plenty of time to investigate, and be able to catch a few, hours of sleep if you need to drive back. Because not everybody lives super close, and you like to stay up super late. So I get that you need some sleep. So I think that's a pretty nice, generous amount of time, and gives people enough time to get things done.
That's very, very reasonably priced. I'm on the East Coast, so we can't rent a place for even half a night for $300.
Yeah, I have found, like I said, we're doing a couple trips this year, and a lot of times I won't even go to places if I only can have it for like half the night. Especially if I'm driving, 7-8 hours, just to have 4 to 6 hours, just to me is not worth my time to go that far.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, I try to make it real generous for everybody, and just want everybody to have a good time.
Well, and it's nice because it allows the people to investigate when they want to, too. Because, we're going to Waverly later this year, and don't get me wrong, you get a big chunk of time. You get from like 8 to 4 in the morning, but I'm old. I get tired like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I want to start at 5, and I'll be done at 1. I'm good with this. You're gonna find Kelly curled up in a corner somewhere at Waverly Sanitarium, just snoring away because I couldn't do it.
Oh, you'll do it. It's just because it's Waverly, man.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, it wasn't activity-wise was not off the charts, but it's just the phenomena, just to be there and say, oh my God, I was over.
Yeah.
You know?
See, and that was kind of my experience when I went too. Is we didn't really have a ton happen while we were there, so I'm kind of excited to go back, and hopefully this time I won't be so awestruck of where I am that I can focus better and maybe investigate better.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I was. I don't want to say disappointed because it was Waverly. I mean, come on. But
right.
I don't know. I just expected it to live up to the hype, and now I know better. So yeah.
Right.
No,
well, and that's the thing with investigating. I mean, you could go somewhere. We've been to places where it's like, oh my God, all this stuff happens, and we go and we don't get anything. So I think it just kind of depends on the night, and also, do the spirits even want to interact that day?
Yeah.
I think the energy that the group brings. So there's a whole lot of different factors that involve. So I've never gone anywhere. I have gone to places where we haven't got anything, but I never said, oh my God, it's not haunted. It's just, it was a bad luck night for us that day. So I.
Well, and I want to. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's like fishing. Sometimes you get a bite, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, I know that you and I even talked about that after we were out at the Boyd House. We had a little bit. It wasn't a super, super active night, but it's like, hey, I'm not going to say it's not haunted because we did have a few things, and they don't perform on demand. So,
right.
But we got our things. It was fun.
Yeah.
The reason that I was... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I love that picture your friend drew. I was going to say, when you guys held that up, and I was like, oh my God, I love that picture.
Well, and that's what I was just going to ask you about. So that's kind of why I was asking if you knew the kids and the age, because that was something that Chris and I were both experiencing. Just a kid, and I want to say it was a boy, if I'm remembering. My memory's horrible. But I want to say it was a boy just peeking through the spindles of the stairway at us as we were sitting in the dining room, but he would have been older. I mean, I would have put him maybe 6-ish.
Yeah, we've had actually quite a bit of things. A boy named Luke, who's supposedly about 8 years old. So I've that could have possibly maybe, I don't know who he is or where he came from. But
yeah, he seemed pretty shy.
Yeah, exactly.
He was very shy.
Yeah, and I have gotten some interaction with him, so, still, again, learning, like, where he came from and what, and I've been told by another medium he hides in the closets quite a bit, and so I kind of feel like that was him who said, don't hurt me, and hide when they were in the closet, and, I've gotten him on the spirit box that actually said Luke, and I'm 8, and so that's possibly who he is. So like I said, I think the nice thing about owning the place is that I can continually go back and try and get the answers and work on getting the answers to some of these questions versus when you get one night in a place, you might go, oh my gosh, what does this mean? But now I can't go back. So you can never figure it out. You can never figure it out. So
yeah, we're definitely interested in coming back out sometime and seeing, because I know sometimes even too, the more familiar they get with you, the more likely they are to interact. So
especially with children spirits, I think.
Right. Yeah. And he was getting more confident as we were there and kind of getting closer and closer. I catch just little bitty glimpses of him, like dashing into a room or something. But there towards the end, he was actually sitting on a stairway where we could see him. But it was very much that, well, I'm not supposed to be down there when adults are talking feeling. So,
right. And that's how they were back in the day. Children should be seen and not heard. So,
yep. Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. So Mama Pat is asking, what all has the house been used for over the years? Has it always just been a family home?
As far as I know, just a family home.
And his general store was around the corner in kind of the like little downtown strip.
Right, yeah. It's that's where he had his store. Back in the day they had like a hotel, and they had two meat stores, just barber shops, they had a pool, billiard place, they had a bar, a post office, 2 banks. I mean, it was just booming, crazy town. I go back and I see the pictures, and I look at it now, and I'm like, wow, it is 100% completely different. So it was big, and I know you've been there, but basically the house is kitty corner from the town, so there's probably a lot of stuff going on, and it would surprise me if there was like shootouts, like they had in the Wild West. There could have been that too. So there's who knows what happened down there back in the day.
On that note, though, if you guys are ever going to the Boyd House, make sure to take food with you and like any drinks and stuff you're going to want, or else you have to drive about 10-15 minutes because there is pretty much a bar and a strip club in the town now.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
So we just giggled when the great grandson told us that. He's like, yeah, there's not a lot to see now, but if you're interested in a good drink or a naked lady, you just go downtown. It's like,
what else does the town need?
Okay, then.
A haunted house, a strip, what is it called? A strip club, and a bar. That's it.
He rendered us speechless.
Yeah, that's the town. And from what I found out, the strip club was the Eckert's old shop.
Really?
Store.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
We talked to that. We should just go in and see what it's all about. We could have gone in and said,
could say it's
don't
research.
Mind us. We're paranormal investigating.
Yeah, it's research.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Oh, too funny. But no, it's a cute little house. I would say, for anybody who hasn't been there, it's, size-wise, comparatively, I'd say it's slightly bigger than Villisca.
I think it's way bigger than Villisca. Villisca, I think, is really small. Yeah, but it's hard in comparison because I think Villisca, it's the 2 floors. The rooms are super tiny. But this has kind of got the basement, the main floor.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. The basement makes it.
And yeah. So because the total we're 2,100 square feet roughly.
Yeah, the basement makes it so much bigger. So
right.
Okay, in the basement, which is weird to go down there and go to the bathroom, by the way, just so you know.
Everybody hates that down there. It's like, that's my favorite bathroom.
It's the one I went and used every time, but it's weird. Anyways, the room that was behind the bathroom, do you know anything about that room?
That I heard is not original to the house. That was an addition put on. But I do not like that room. I've never liked that room. I don't feel comfortable in that room. And a couple of my teammates got the same feel, and I had never told them. It's the very first time all my other teammates came down with me. I didn't say anything about the house. I never told them about my feels for the rooms, anything. And they all said they hated that room. They can't get comfortable in that room. Teresa was pacing back and forth, and I'm like, "What's your deal?" And she's like, "I don't like it in here, and I can't handle it in here." We don't know what's really going on there, but someone got like the F-bomb for an EVP in that room too.
Yeah, it's a weird room. And we couldn't even put our finger on why it was uncomfortable, but it was uncomfortable.
Yeah. So there's just something about it. I just don't like being in there.
Yeah. It was weird. The red room, the little red room that's upstairs, that looks kind of like a library. It's got the 2 chairs in it now. Was that a bedroom? Do you happen to know?
Originally, I don't know. It was originally used as a bedroom from the previous owner, and then they made it into an office. So when I bought it, I kept kind of saying, "Hey, can you tell me what you want this room to be?" So I just kind of get a feel. So I kind of got a feel that they kind of wanted it, not necessarily a library, but just kind of as a place to go.
Right.
And think, kind of like a sitting room. So I thought, and it just came to me one day, I'm like, I'm going to make a library, I'm going to paint it red. So that's kind of what I did. I don't know if that's the idea they gave me, but that's what I came up with. So.
Yeah, it's a tiny room, so that's why I was asking if it was ever a bedroom. But it really does just have a come in, sit down, and relax feeling to it. So I think I probably spent almost as much time in that room as anywhere when we were there that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was interesting when we redid that one. It had like shelves on the wall. It was painted the same color as the living room, that peach color. So we stripped the floor from it because it had some hideous carpet in there. And we went through from like 5 or 6 different layers of linoleum under there. You could just see by decades. It was kind of funny. You go like, oh, I wonder what's under this layer. And, so that was kind of fun. We have plans on doing some more renovations, so I haven't found anything fun. I always kind of thought I'd find something in the walls or under the floor, something weird that was hidden, but I haven't yet.
Be careful what you ask for.
I know.
Just specify what it is that you want to find. You want to find his stash of money that he tucked away and forgot about.
Yes, that would be good, Yes, like a brick of gold. That would be great.
Yeah, something like that would be great. You just got to be careful because something interesting could be, like dead bodies.
Yes, you got to be careful.
Yeah, we don't want that. I don't need no dead bodies on there. Although I did the spirit box find the body, so because I was like, did you die here? And I was like, find the body. So I'm like, great, there's somebody's dead here.
Oh, yay!
Oh boy. So we have a question that's always asked on almost all the Paranormal Buzz shows, but we try to always remember to ask it here, and we're asking it in kind of a funny way, and you can answer with anything you want. The show is explicit.
This is an explicit show.
Yeah,
any answer is acceptable.
Anything that you feel comfortable saying, you can say. What is the one object in the whole world you would never want to be haunted?
Go with an object. My car.
It's amazing how often that's the answer.
Yes.
Is it really?
I think it's the second most popular. The first one's always the toilet.
Yeah, that I don't worry about. I just don't want anybody like grabbing the wheel and taking over. I think that would be, or like sometimes I think, and I don't know, it's me because I'm just weird. But sometimes I'm like driving and I'll look at my rear view. I'm like, God, I hope I don't see anybody back there. It's like,
I always check the back seat when you get in. You have to check the back seat, make sure the Boston Strangler's not in the back.
And you do.
Exactly.
But am I the only person who, when you're driving down the road, you feel like somebody's putting a knee in the back of your chair? And I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm scared to turn around and look, although I've looked before I got in the car.
Yep.
I can't say I've felt anybody behind it, but it's just always a fear of mine just to glance in the rear view and have somebody just sitting there, like you just see, like a person. They'd be like, and I'd probably run off the road, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. But
right.
You know the feeling I'm talking about, right? Like when a kid's behind you and they're leaning back and pushing their knees into the back of the
Yeah.
That's what
exactly.
this feels like.
I have so many kids, I might be immune to the feeling.
Maybe.
So, do you want to give out your social media info for yourself, or your team, and the Boyd House? Where can people find you?
Yeah, if you want to, we're under our website is St. Croix Paranormal. That's just STCROIX. So stcroixparanormal.com. That's the information about us, and then a little bit on Boyd House. You can hit us up on Facebook under Boyd House or St. Croix Paranormal. And then if you want to just shoot us an email if you have any questions or want to schedule a reservation at boydhouse217@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Thank you. Kelly, do you have any last questions?
I don't think so. I think you said this, but just to clarify, you are still taking reservations during the pandemic?
Oh, gosh, yes, it's been crazy. Yeah, we're getting pretty busy. A lot of the Fridays and Saturdays are filling up. So, people have just been coming, and it's been good. Getting a lot of good evidence and just a lot of good things coming out of the house.
Good. All right.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking. And We'll have to have you back on down the road.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yes, it was very fun. Sorry about all the technical issues I'm having on my side, but but it was a good show.
It was good on our side, Shay. You're good.
We are still live, just so you guys don't get confused here. But did you guys hear my dog having a bad dream a few minutes ago?
No.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, they'll probably heard it. They probably heard it in the chat. She's like barking in her sleep. I'm like, shh, shh.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, yep.
That's hilarious.
So, everybody, yes, please remember to punch that like button and share us out. We appreciate you guys listening, and whether it's live in there or you're listening after, thank you very much. If you are listening live, you have to jump into chat and say hi, so we know you're there. There's some people's pictures we know, but not everybody, so just come in, say hi. And Kelly, you want to do a shout out since I forgot last week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks,
so
hon.
there's that crazy Shay lady and Allison
Crazy.
and her aunt, Darren, Mama Pat, Mr. Matt, welcome back. Glad you're feeling better. Mr. Darren, of course, Mama Deb. I might have said Darren twice, but
He
gotta
deserves
say him
it.
twice because he's worth it.
Yes.
I'm scrolling through. Scrolling. Oh, Freddie jumped in for a little bit. Fred, sorry. I don't know if anybody else calls him Freddie, but he's Freddie to me. Miss Kim Purvis was in there for a while.
We got both the mamas in there.
Got both the mamas.
Both the mamas.
We love our mamas. They're good people.
And I see eyes
All right.
too hiding, so.
Hides all the time.
Yes.
It's like a watching eye or something.
Yes. Oh, it's the Watcher. There we go.
Sorry.
All right. We have no show next Friday, guys. So we will be back on the 19th. Yes, I had to check.
Excellent.
So, again, thank you everybody for listening. Jill, thank you for coming on. And I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Stay warm and stay safe.